In this video, I'm going to show you 3 methods to quit video games. So these are some methods that I use myself because I used to play video games quite a lot. And I've now quit them. I haven't played video games in like a year or so. So in this video, I'm going to show you some tactics you can use to basically stop playing video games and just I don't know, do business or something else. So, step number 1, meditation. Meditation is extremely important in stopping playing video games. The reason why is because meditation basically it gives you that mental kind of ability to think about what you're doing. It sounds really vague and kind of strange, but it actually does. It just makes you sort of think better and assess the situation. Well, of course, video games, you've quit them. Now you're thinking, oh, maybe I should play a game. The meditation kind of allows you to think, well, doing that wouldn't necessarily be better for my future self. It would actually be worse for my future self because in the future I'm going to feel all bad about it. And also meditation is just generally just a very good thing to do. So meditation, first of all, is very, very useful. Secondly, getting out of the environment. Now, for some things, this doesn't work, but a lot of things can actually be fixed by just getting out of the environment. For example, I don't know, if you don't want to start a business, for example, just get into an environment of people who do business. If you got some friends who study business or, have do business as, their employment, like they're a businessman, or join a community like Hamza's school thing, that. It just gets you into the environment, you're more likely to do it. So getting out of the environment, in relation to video games, getting out of the environment is kind of uninstalling Steam, uninstalling the video games, and it can be very tempting to do that, once you've done this, just to, install them again. But what's key here is kind of to set a mental barrier, as in oh, it's going to be too much hard work to do it, for example. When I did it, for example, I just uninstalled everything. So, I mean, of course, you might be like, oh, I'll just do it, try to install all of the games. But for me, it was well, I've got to install everything again. It's going to be so much hard work, so much hassle. I can't flipping deal with it. I want to flipping FAP and all that. I don't want to flipping install all this. So I just flipping oh well, I'll just uninstall it, and then. I think video games are a relatively easy thing to give up, to be honest. I think fapping is much harder to give up. For me, personally, it was very, very hard to give up fapping. Way harder than video games. Video games aren't really that hard. I mean, of course, it's very, cool, it's exciting, but video games are kind of replaceable. Fapping is very hard to replace. It takes mental discipline, but video games are something you can give up quite easily if you replace it with something. And that is the third thing, replace it with something. You've got to replace it with something. For example, if you want to do business or something, if you're studying business for, I don't know, GCSEs or A-level, which I'm going to do, you need to kind of replace it with it. So if you're studying for GCSEs, for example, you could just replace it with studying for something, right? Or if you're out of school, you could just, I don't know, text girls or something, or replace it with texting girls or something, or just doing something to replace it. Replace playing video games, replace doing that, just kind of, give yourself a new activity to do. And kind of an extra point as well is go to the gym. Now, I have been trying to go to the gym and I haven't really built anything yet. I started I was kind of not really doing it. I've kind of started doing it for 2 or 3 weeks. Not really built anything yet, but going to the gym is extremely important because it builds your discipline both mentally and physically, and this can be extremely, extremely useful in both business and with video games, like stop playing video games. It's very useful. Just having the discipline. Discipline helps you in all realms of human endeavor and stuff. Because it basically, like, I don't know, if you have a competition, for example, they're only going to be fueled by motivation. So if they are demotivated, they're going to be like, oh well, I can't even bother. But if you've got discipline, you're going to destroy them, like in business and in everything else, right? So having discipline is extremely useful. So going to the gym will build that, and of course, I'll post another video about how to go to the gym, how to, you know, be consistent with going to the gym. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So those are 3 things that will basically prevent you from playing video games ever again. You'll be video game free. And final note is that video games are not as hard, not too hard to replace, to give up. They're not too hard. Okay, fapping is harder, and I'll post some videos about how to quit that. But video games aren't that hard. Okay, so if you feel like it's going to be too hard, don't worry. It won't be that hard. Don't worry. It'll be fine. If you find it hard, don't worry. Just implement the 3 steps. If you find it hard, even with those steps, just continue trying, okay? I had a massive issue with fapping. I implemented all the things that Hamza and Eamon Gadsey and all that, all them, they gave, and I kept relapsing over and over again, okay? You're not alone. I shared the same thing, like, I couldn't stop, okay? But, like, just know that eventually, months and months of hard work, you will eventually do it, you will give up, and you'll be able to tell the tale on a YouTube video. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is my first video. I know my conversation style and kind of how I've been speaking is not very good. I'm well aware of that, but hopefully future videos will allow me to become better, and yeah, so thank you for watching, and goodbye.